Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I'm gonna spend some money on Splinterlands. I am a long-term believer in what this game is and the future potential that it carries. I also think it's fun and entertaining. And for those reasons, I'm still, at this moment, with SPS being in the tanks and DEC being below peg and cards prices having bled out, excited and interested in buying assets. I'm gonna spend some money today. I've got $300 US. I'm gonna buy some assets. If you wanna stick around and see what I do with that money, then you know what to do. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel 1258. You can call me 12. Let's get into it. Okay, so the thing I want to lead with as I move into this is I want to talk superficially about how one calculates where to allocate their funds. Because I think, you know, $300 is a lot to some and it's nothing to others. And so if you love Splinterlands and you're invested in this game and you believe in that's fun and has a future, you might, and $300 is not very much to you, you might just buy one card and that'd be the end of the conversation. To me, it's not nothing. It's a consequential amount of funds. And yet, because of some silver benefits that I'm a long-term silver collector, and because of some profits recently, I'm able to take $400 Canadian and go ahead and get some things I want in Splinterlands. But like I've said so many times with the Splinterlands, you can't afford everything, even though you want everything. And part of the game within the game of Splinterlands and why it's so fun, it's not just an auto brawler collectible card game. The game within the game is understanding your limited resources and stretching them across, you know, a multitude of options. And so the conversation starts with, what is $300 to you? Or where does that sort of measurement, does that even matter and move the needle to you? Probably many of you it would. Just so you know, using Splinter cards, you can determine that a max level Chaos Legion set would cost about $600. A max regular foil Chaos Legion set up to Diamond would be $626 as of today. And so that might be an interesting starting point. If you had $300 US to put into Splinterlands, buying an amazing, you know, silver level deck would cost $147. Gold, $356. Right there might be an interesting way. For me, I've got a max Chaos Legion set so that we don't go there. Another interesting consideration is looking at the OBSBOT card research data, which shows, you know, the total ELO, which is like the performance of a certain monster. If it's really powerful, it'll have a high ELO. But then the value score takes in the ELO as compared to price point. And so it's more of a value consideration as opposed to an impact measurement. So maybe the data is going to help you find key cards that you don't have. Kelly Frendel is the highest summoner with the best value score and the best total ELO. If you don't have a max Kelia, then that would be an interesting place to start. Again, for me, that's not really part of the conversation. You can use this data to look at it's currently in the modern format. You can look at Rift Watchers or Rebellion and start to find key cards that are missing from there. And I was a bit surprised by some of that data. But this is a piece of it. It's only a piece. Because really where I go then is looking at, you know, you could just throw $300 at SPS and hope that there's speculation on price appreciation. And that might be interesting. I don't think that makes sense for me. I looked at it, I probably could buy 40,000 SPS. And while that would be cool, it wouldn't move the needle when I already have 300,000. It wouldn't like change my game experience. And so I'm probably going to buy, because I believe in SPS, a third of my $300 goes to SPS. That's in fact what I'm going to do. $100 to SPS because I believe that's going to be about 10,000. I want 10,000 more SPS. That's a meaningful 5-digit number. Let's do it. I'm going to do it. In fact, I already did it using Hive Engine. About 11,990 SPS using 1.4 LTC, and I'm using 3 LTC to buy 245,000 DEC. That DEC will be used to buy cards, and I will use some combination of the information I've just cited. OBSBOT data might prompt some card considerations, looking at peak monsters and finding which cards have the greatest differential, not just globally, but like I could look at alphas, betas. There's some interesting cards in the alpha summoner. I saw alpha summoner Selenia Sky max level for $180. That's interesting because of a long-term hold. But from maximizing the number of cards I have access to and the impact on my game, I'm going to be looking at Rebellion and Rift Watchers primarily. So based on all the information I'm seeing, Arachne Thug for this price point and this impact, because this card is powerful, and that cross-references with what I previously found with the OBSBOT card search data. Highest Rift Watcher cards, you can search by Rift Watcher. Arachne Thug is number 1 out of all the Rift Watcher cards in terms of its value, let's say. from XBOT data. So it's a great card, and it's very affordable. You know, level 8 for $6 or a max level for 11, but I already have it. And so I'm not really looking at that. Dumak Exile is one I don't have, at least not maxed out, and I definitely believe its value. And I know from the XBOT data also it scores high. And then there happens to be a gold foil, which one of the pieces of data I look for is the differential between the per BCX and the low buy. So the low buy is 45 cents per BCX on the gold foil, and it's 30 cents on the max. And there happens to be this one little guy over here, 30 cents per BCX, which is a great price, times 38, which is a max, which is what I want, or $11. So that's a buy. And then I also see there's other differentials like Arachne Thug on the gold foil if you're interested in gold foils. And it may or may not be there when you check. Fernheart has got a big differential if you like that summoner. I do. I already bought one recently for like I think the same price or somewhere around that. Another one that I see here really cheap, Aquatus. And I don't love Aquatus, but I love options. And for 29 cents, which is 9 cents or 10 cents less than the lowest BCX price, it's crazy. Now the high bid is only 12 cents, and that's a big differential. And this price could probably fall more before, you know, eventually it could go up. But for a summoner to be $13, that almost feels like I could buy multiple of them and just sit on it. There's only, you know, I see value for that. Vispa is one of the ones that performs well. $15, yes please. These must be exit prices. Rift Watchers to me deserves extra consideration. So does Rebellion. I also added to my account a Coral Lurker. 1 B6 is 660, but I need one more to get a level 4, and that's worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I see that my DC's come through. My trade has happened. I acquired 12,000 SPS, which I haven't yet brought into the game, but I will. And I got 250,000 DEC that I'm going to put to work with respect to cards. I feel like there's a lot of ways to go, but I already hinted at some of my thought processes. I am inclined to believe that this game is fun and it has a future. And with that premise being the foundation of all considerations, buying assets with a long-term perspective for this game are where my head's at. With $200 roughly worth of cards, I have $194 worth of DC. I'm definitely going to buy, like I said, the one Coral Lurker, a level 10 Dumak Exile gold foil for $11, which to me feels like a great deal for a very powerful sneak monster. A $13 Aquatus Epic Summoner, level 6, max level reg foil. Tinderlock level 4, that's going to put me high enough that I've got the max level Tinderlock, which gives you one more damage output. A max level Thispa, again, $14 for a summoner. I'm down with that. I like Thispa. I've wanted it for a long time, and you know, is it going to go cheaper? Maybe, but man, $15 for a summoner, crazy. Sign me up. Underboss Fabino, this is still going to get me Rebellion airdrop points, and so I look at the Rebellion cards. Not a lot of them are cheap, but then cheap also has to do with how, not just what's the price, but how can I use it, and part of that's in game. And then part of it's also with the remaining airdrop points and whatnot. And I don't even have any underboss. So a summoner, an underboss summoner, I'll just buy all those. All of these are on the 36% mark. And rapidly it goes up from there. That's another piece. Like I'll buy some of the cheaper ones and then I'll move on. Like as I look at my card again, Kulu Masterminds, I'm getting, so I looked at all Rift Watcher, I looked at all Rebellion, and those are the ones that I'm interested in for not just their current utility, their current sort of their fit within the meta. None of those are really crazy overpowered. Well, most of them aren't. Coral Lurker probably could be in that conversation, Tinderlock maybe, but they're just affordable and I like where they fit in and they give me new options for the right price. But then I looked at Rebellion, I looked at Rift Watchers, and I felt like those were all I really wanted for the price points that were available. Kulu Mastermind, however, and some of the Soulbound reward cards, I'm definitely still into. And I think these Soulbound reward cards will be more expensive in the future. I think that price will grow and grow and grow as the unlock cost goes up and up and up. I think the cost will go marginally up until they're no longer in circulation at all. Like you can no longer unbind. And then I would expect some of the best of these cards to go up a lot because I think they're going to be really scarce. So I went through and I was like, you know, Ava Sturgis is one I like. Kulu Mastermind. I've got several of them on my listed in my cart. Pretty much buying everything under $5. The unlock cost is roughly $4.5, $5. And that's with DEC being where it's at. I don't think DEC is going to be at peg for very under peg forever. And then also I think I know that the unlock cost is gonna go up and up and up. And as we look at this, yeah, there's a lot of BCX, but the number of unbound units, there's only 420 unbound units, 15 available cards. So I'm buying the market, man. I'm gonna leave like a couple behind. You know what I mean? And so yeah, somebody else will unlock more, and there'll be more that'll come to supply. But I'm confident in Cooler Mastermind in the short to medium as well as the long term. It's an amazing card. Weapon Trainer, even at level 1, Weapon Trainer with level 4 damage is good. And then Ava Sturridge, same thing. Weapon Trainer, 2 damage output, lowest levels. So I added all of the, you know, reasonable cards there. And what's my target at? That's 150 bucks. I'm gonna probably call it there, and maybe I'll sit on. Maybe I'll activate a few plots of land. I don't know where the rest will go, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to rush into this, but I do want to rush into these purchases. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. That's 192,000 DEC. I also, like I said, got the 15,000 or 12,000 SPS right there. We'll go ahead and transfer in. We'll go ahead and stake that. That's not going to... The problem with this trade, although I want SPS, it's not sexy because it's not going to move the needle meaningfully in terms of my returns. Yes, I need it more SPS, but it's not gonna activate a crazy new reward level. Like when I stake that, I go up from 12.41 boost in modern to 12.45, right? Kind of who cares? But long-term 12,000 SPS I think is a big deal, and I want more, not less. So that's what I'm doing with $300 US. What would you do with $300 US? I think there's a lot of ways and a lot of directions, and $300 is a lot to some and a little to others. But man, I'm excited for where this is at and where it's going. Are you? Let me know in the comments below. Have an amazing day. God bless.